Hanukkah in Jerusalem is much like Seattle. It's often dark, usually rainy, with gusts of wind that chill to the bone. Walking through the narrow passages of the Jewish quarter in the Old City after sunset, the lights from the Hanukkah candles flicker in windows or outside people's doors, usually small flames in oil within a glass box to keep them lit, the damp stones aglow. The tradition says we are to announce the miracle of Hanukkah. And since historically people were coming home from the marketplace just after sunset, that became the time to display the candles. Most of us know this legend of the lights, how an untrained band of farmers overcame the mighty Syrian army, an army who sought to destroy Judaism, how 1 day's worth of oil for the eternal light miraculously burned for 8 days. And so we get to eat jelly donuts, latkes, and essentially anything else cooked in oil that tastes fantastic but is terrible for the cholesterol levels. Hanukkah is actually a minor holiday, but symbolically, it's very powerful. It inspires us to believe that light can drive out darkness, that we can overcome tremendous odds with faith and dedication. And this got me wondering, do we really believe the oil miraculously burned for 8 days? Or that the great Syrian army was defeated by a band of farmers? Some would say they weren't farmers but extremists. They certainly would not have seen themselves that way. People on the extremes rarely do. Some of our stories play their part, and we can let go of them as we outgrow them. I'm thinking of the Tooth Fairy, Paul Bunyan and his blue ox. I'm from Minnesota after all. Or that babies sleep peacefully through the night. But some legends are more important, even of a biblical stature. These founding myths provide a way for us to organize and make sense of our lives, of our world, and so much of the chaos that surrounds us. These are communal stories, often our founding narratives. They provide a way for us to pass on our shared values to the next generation. They give us faith in institutions and people. When large enough, they even have the power to turn you and me into a collective we. And when these myths fall, they can pose an existential threat. And depending on what we choose to do, it can also be a time of retreat into fear and suspicion, or an opportunity for reflection, evolution, and recreation. As a country, we are living through just such a time, a moment when our myths are under tremendous strain and are cracking at the foundation. Many of our founding stories are being reconsidered or torn down completely. We need our collective stories, whether they are true with a capital T or a lowercase t. They create a gravitational pull for society and act like a shared compass bearing. Like all oral traditions, we also need to let them evolve so each generation can add its verse or accent to the narrative. We must let some fade while affirming others. This doesn't make them less true. It makes them more alive. Judaism, like the United States, is built on a foundation of legend and law. Just as we need our laws to evolve, so too with our legends. I don't know the true origins of Hanukkah, but I do know the power of the story. As we enter this new season of light, let's remember the importance of our collective stories. Let's not be afraid to expand on our stories and let them breathe. Like the light in the darkness, our stories are made more powerful when shared. They're not diminished. I don't know what my ancestors were thinking when they arrived at Ellis Island, nor do I know the time of year. I like to imagine it was Hanukkah. I imagine them looking up as their ship passed beneath the Statue of Liberty, with her torch ablaze, declaring to the universe that this is a country where people can overcome tremendous odds, where miracles can happen. As we light our candles and celebrate Chanukah this year, I imagine millions of lights flickering in the darkness, attesting to the power of our individual and collective stories, the faith of our ancestors, and the immense power of we. Have a wonderful Chanukah and stay safe.